Now, I've never been medically checked up on my mental health, but I'm never really clear what like dissociating really means. But I can kind of understand the feeling. With one of my earliest memory as a kid, where I would, in a sense, be traumatized, because as a kid, one time I went to go visit a friend while under some circumstances with my family and household. I decided to, sneak out using an excuse to like riding my bike or go roller skating or just doing whatever I can just to sneak out, like just finding any excuse, honestly, and not tell them that I'm actually visiting a friend's house, mainly due because some circumstances stand where outside influence shouldn't influence the family or whatnot. And yeah, not gonna get too much into it, but regardlessly, I'm gonna go visit him this one day, and his house was on fire, and I was seeing it from very like 2 blocks from afar. Now, I didn't live too far from him. I live like 5 blocks down, and when I get to like the second block to his house, I saw smoke and looked down the street, and there was his house was on fire, and seeing a crowd pointing, on their phone and doing some random shit, just standing there, I guess, looking at the fire. Now, those 2 main things that kind of ran through my mind were I was mainly in fear of the decisions that I had to make, honestly, because there was 2 parts of me where I wanted to try to quote unquote help as much as I can, like try to get somebody, find out if my friend's okay, find out if my other friends that hanged out with that friend I'm currently visiting is there or not. I just wanted to help because, as silly as it may sound, I have this mentality of like, I look up to superheroes and whatnot, or comics, or being too influenced to superheroes and whatnot, and I really wanted to help, but there was more a decision. There was more of an idea where I was more scared of what if my parents or my household would find out, and I would just get in trouble if I get involved in this situation. And in my lapse of judgment or whatever, I kind of just ran back without doing anything, and that kind of like haunted me. And as I got back to my house, obviously my brothers and sisters and household didn't really know that there was a fire going on, but they still asked me regardless, because that's what they always done, because I would like disappear on the block when I go riding my bike or whatnot. They'll still ask me, and normally, trying to be sneaky about it or whatnot, I would avoid the situation or question and be like, just riding my bike or whatnot. But this time it was different. I have witnessed something that I believe that I should have not witnessed, or believe that it shouldn't even happen to begin with, but it did regardless, because that's the reality of it. And I couldn't help not be able to process it, because I was struggling between wondering if my friend's okay, or if I could have done more, or anything. But I was just too conflicted with my household situation, and kind of felt bad in a way that my fear and negative feelings won over my feelings rather than my positive one, in a sense. And not knowing how to cope with that, I kind of just found a spot in my house where I kind of just blinked out and passed out. Now, I believe that's what most people will be considering dissociating would be, kind of just like, you know, being in a trance, but the main thing I want to talk about is not that, like trauma, coping and whatnot, but more of like just a more relaxed and creative way of thinking it, I guess you want to say. Because when I nowadays listen to music, I'm not sure if I'm dissociating, but in a way I feel like it's a good thing, mainly because it might be a bad thing. I mean, it's probably a bad thing, but I personally don't see it as a bad thing. It's probably bad in general, but I don't have too much on my plate, so I don't think it's a bad thing in a sense. The way nowadays I kind of experience like music or anything that relieves stresses in my life, or in a sense my vices, in a sense, like mainly listening to music can really put me into a trance where I really don't feel like myself and really be absorbed by the music. Now, I will say that the main music I get this like trance like feeling or makes me like dissociate is mainly like melancholic or mellow or even sadder tones, like kinds of music. And yeah, sure, I guess you can say it is a bad thing, because I have noticed that in the past it have like really affected my mindset or mental health. But as long as I don't dwell into it too much, I feel like it's okay. You know, being able to manage it should be okay. As long it's still wrong no matter what, but regardlessly, as long as I'm functioning, I think it's okay. You know, because you can't really. I guess I couldn't speak for myself, I guess. So I guess that's all I have to say about that situation. Regardlessly, music always puts me into like at least the music I listen to would always put me into a trance, and I think that in a sense always feels really, really nice to able to have a, I guess you can say, other like outside body experience, I guess. I'm not too sure, because not like I still feel like I'm myself. I just feel like I'm just like in the music in a sense, where I can kind of like really listen and feel the lyrics of the music I listen to and understand and absorb what's going on to the music in a sense. That's the type of music, that's the type of feelings that I really enjoy, and it could be that really affects of my relationship with others, where I kind of like dissociate way too far and think I'm in that type of situation, think I'm some type of like novel or love, quote unquote, like love story, or even like book or fairy tale. I guess that's what the word I'm trying to call it, fairy tale, where reality is not really like that. It's not a fairy tale, and it can really ruin people's like lives and whatnot. I kind of had to learn that the hard way in a sense. Didn't feel like dissociating was my main problem. I think it was mainly due to my lack of emotional knowledge or mental knowledge at the time, mainly due to some circumstance. As like I said, my circumstances as a child really limited me with like friends, because I lost like a lot of my so-called things where I call like friends. I usually would say like in past tense, mainly due because I would break things off because I don't feel like, in a sense, they need me, quote unquote, like need me Like I feel like they'll be okay, and I have like, in the sense that I have quote unquote faith in them. Like I shouldn't worry about them, they shouldn't worry about me, kind of thing. But you know, that's not how life is. But regardless, yeah, I don't think dissociating is a bad thing. It just depends on the situation. Like if it comes to trauma, yeah, it's probably a bad thing. But I feel like if it's on your like, you know, downtime or your, you know, time where you're like relaxing, I don't feel like it's a bad thing, because it could really like be a eye opener. Because I know some people can also dissociate from by using drugs, and can use that as like a outer body experience. I feel like it's kind of the same thing, where they need the drugs to help them find like a ethereal answer. Ooh, I'm burpy, sorry. But regardless, I don't feel like dissociating is a bad thing. I feel like a moderate, you know, taking, or whatever you want to say it. I feel like it's always at least for me, I feel like it's always good, because it's like such a dream-like experience, or not experience, but more of like creative way of to think, which I really enjoy, because I always try to like understand things, and listen to this type of music make me understand the emotions of the lyrics and musical scores. And not like I know music theory or whatnot, but regardless, I think that being in that type of mindset really helps me to understand the things that I always lacked, and I think it's a good thing. But regardless, I think that's all I really want to talk about. Bye bye.